Hi, my name is Chris Erskine. I'm an urban landscape artist, and welcome to Art Post 58 for the week of March 29th, 2016. So the past week I've been continuing my struggles to get down to the studio, and even while I am achieving some success of getting an hour or so a night, I'm still struggling to come up to the 10-hour minimum quota that I set myself so that I can keep the work going. And 10 hours is really the bare bones minimum. Really, I should be in the studio. But again, family work art balance is a constant struggle. I've been continuing to work on the painting behind me and slow going, but yeah, it's I'm still working on it. I also started on a new cityscape painting. It's just in the drawing stage at this point, and in the coming weeks or so, you should be able to see my progress on that. So, in addition to what I'm painting on, I've also been doing research into past urban landscape artists and what they did. And in the process, I discovered the Cubist Realism school from the 1920s and 1930s. I always had believed that this art was more associated with the Ashcan school from the 1930s and 40s, part of the New Deal commission work out of the US during the Depression. But apparently there was also a school of artists prior to that who focused on architecture. They came from the Cubist school, from Cubism, and they saw Cubist possibilities within architecture, and they brought that to a fore. And then moving back towards a realism from Cubism, they moved more to a more muted kind of Cubist perspective on architecture, machinery, and they divided up between urban, so cityscapes and industrial landscapes, and rural landscapes, farms, barns, and all that sort of thing, bringing out, again, the geometric shapes within those landscapes. So they're very interesting, and I'm looking at sort of inspirations on first how they composed their subject matter, the range of subject matter they had. Is there possibilities or suggested? Is there things that I haven't thought of that I might want to explore? So I'm looking for sort of sources of inspiration, and also to avoid reinventing the wheel, not to do something that was done, 90 years ago. Of course, today, urban landscape artists tend to fall in several different streams. There's a group that looks at abandoned landscapes, abandoned building sites, parking lots, areas where there's decay. There's a whole school of photography that looks at ruined architecture that's been abandoned and is in the process of decaying and going back to nature. There's also another school that looks at, or another group of artists that look at the contest between man and nature in the landscape, either nature taking back the landscape from, for example, ruined buildings, or man taking over nature or confining nature into ever smaller spots, like islands, a tree in the middle of a parking lot, a little green space in the middle of a parking lot, or the islands that you see on the turnpikes, on highways, that sort of thing. And then there's a final school that kind of looks at the kind of global warming, nature gone crazy sort of thing, where you get mutant landscapes of jungles and animals and that sort of thing, reclaiming the landscape, or sort of somehow creating this new world of mutant fish and architecture. So those are the sort of the themes that are currently out there, and I'm looking at those themes for inspiration, but also to find my own niche within that, so I'm not redoing what other people have already done. So thanks for dropping by. That's what I've been up to the last week. Again, my art posts are uploaded every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. To my personal blog, Fat Cat Starving Dogs, at 7 a.m. And then you can also find it shortly thereafter on Tumblr, on YouTube, on my Facebook page, and I also tweet out notices about it being available on my personal blog site. So thanks very much for dropping by. I hope everything's well again with you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.